Alright, it's May, and that means it's time for another video game collection video. I've been uploading some Let's Plays on the channel. Obviously haven't been doing any podcast things, but mostly just because they don't have as much of a reward for making at this point. That's more of a long-term thing and maybe in the future. But anyways, we're not going to get into a channel update. There's not really much to say. I've been uploading my live streams and focusing on the Twitch a lot, but I still like to get things onto YouTube to have people watch or whatever. And so yeah, I think I can't remember, but I think last time I said it would be Xbox 360. I just decided to go with whatever today, and it ended up being that the best one for me to do was the 360. So if that's what I said, kind of works out. We'll just go ahead and get started. So I just have the Xbox 360 Slim, and the camera's not focusing for some reason. But whatever, you've probably seen what a Slim 360 looks like. And yeah, originally I had the Xbox, just the regular 360 before the Slim came out. And I got mine in 2008, so you can imagine around that time. It was Christmas 2008 to be exact, so just right before 2009. And you can imagine, like, what the Xbox was like at that time. It was still the red ring era and stuff. So my first Xbox, it did not get a red ring, but it did get broke in the sense that it wouldn't read disc anymore, and the only way I could get it to read disc is I'd have to go like that, and which is not good. And I broke some games for that. I remember buying Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and I broke it on the very first day because I was doing that while the game was in there, but that was the only way I could get it to read. So about a month later, I think it was, I ended up buying, or not a month later, or yeah, it was like a month after Black Ops 2 came out, I think I bought this. So the fact that I could go through one console and have it break before the next console comes out, when I didn't really take bad care of it or anything, it's just that console generation lasted so long. But anyways, you probably noticed off to the left here we have the Master Chief helmet here, and that's what we're going to start off with besides the console. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, I'm actually I'm out in the living room now, so I used to film way back in that room there, which is the really tiny room, so I can actually get up, not that I'm really going to, and walk around and stuff, hey. So it's not so cramped. The camera angle should look slightly better than the previous ones. I'm just using my couch, what do you, like, foot rest, whatever. But yeah, anyway, so, this is the Master Chief helmet. I can really see myself in the reflection there. And this is from the Halo 3 Special Edition. So a lot of people have seen this because they probably got it when Halo 3 came out. If you haven't, it is not an actual wearable helmet, unfortunately. It's just like a replica thing. If I can get it off. It's got like this thing and it slides into that. So that's kind of lame. It's not super big. Probably as big as someone's actual head, so you couldn't actually fit in it even if you did drill a hole. And then we've got the box. Now I will say this, I don't have the entirety of the Special Edition. Because, and let me move this around here, I bought it used for, it looks like 40 bucks. There's even a sticker they put on it that said helmet only. The reason I bought it is because I was just like, honestly, just for the helmet and the box, I could get the other stuff later. That's not a big deal. I actually don't know what else the helmet or the Halo 3 Special Edition came with, so if anybody knows, let me know, or I'll just look it up. But I haven't looked it up yet, so let's get started with some games. So there's not gonna be a lot of special editions. Let's start with some lame ones, honestly. Just get them out of the way. So I did have a Madden 25. I buy a Madden game just every now and then. I think the last one I bought was Madden 17. So that was in 2016. It's currently, 2019. So, and then we've got Lego Batman, the video game, which came with the original 1980 Batman movie, so that's pretty cool. Got this for $20 a few years ago. Yeah, it's good. I mean, if you've played a Lego game, played one Lego game, you've played them all, but it's still good. I really got it because my girlfriend likes the Lego games. They're easy for her to play. She's not great at games. If you've watched my live stream, you've probably heard me talk about that a little bit, which is why we're playing Pokemon. But, yeah. Oh, and I just realized I jumped through my thought. What I was going to say right before I showed those was not a lot of special editions with this one, so if you like special editions, I'm sorry, but back in the 360 era, I was in high school, so I didn't really have money for that. Of course, we got Red Dead Redemption. Not much to say here. It's a fantastic game if you've, take some time to get into, but it is what it is. Okay, so this one I actually have something to say about, the Resonance of Fate. So, this is, who made it? I know Sega published it. Let's see. Tri-Ace, is that the company that actually made it? I'm not sure. Well, anyways, this is a good game. I've heard people kind of go, it's alright, or it had a lot of promise, but didn't live up to it. No, it's a good game. It's just got a lot of flaws that prevent it from being a great game, and definitely prevent it from being an amazing game. I love the characters in it. The story is not well told at all. There is an okay story behind it, but it's not very well told. The gameplay is very unique, but it takes some time. I recommend watching somebody who knows what they're doing do it, and then playing it, because I had to learn it all myself, and boy, it was a little confusing. But I figured it out just fine, I guess. But yeah, basically, if you haven't heard of this game, and in Japan it's called End of Eternity, and holy crap, I still have a receipt. Actually, this might be a more recent one. No, yeah, because I must have sold this game and then rebought it. I'm trying to cover up the receipt because I don't know if there's important information on there. It looks like I also bought that day Tales of Vesperia, Eternal Sonata, and I donated $1 to St. Jude's Hospital. So, the date is so faded. Oh, November 2013. That's when I rebought it, so I had already had it. Anyways, that's all besides the point. We're off to kind of a slow start here. I apologize. Yeah, so basically it's like a game. You've got guns. You can customize them, although you don't really. It's not one of those games where you customize your gun's appearance. You can see the appearance change, because you can do ridiculous shit on your gun. You can put 13 mag extenders if you're really creative with it. It's ridiculous. And basically, the character that's holding submachine guns does scrap damage, and then people who hold the pistols, they do direct damage, which adds on to scrap damage. You'd have to play it and see. It's nothing like you've probably ever really played, and they haven't done something like it since, because I don't think it did very well. Actually, let's put this back in there. Yeah, Resonance of Fate, it's good. They just added some kind of reboot type of thing to the PC, or maybe it just got ported to Steam. I don't know. I was interested in it, but a lot of the comments told a very telling story about how people feel about it, which was, they were kind of no, it's not very good. I'll pass. That's what most of the comments said, but I think it's good. It's a good game. I actually like it a lot more than just an average game that sucks, that's not different and unique. At least it has that going for it, It's nothing like you've ever played, so it has something going for it. It just needed a lot of improvements. Anyway, let's go to a more obscure before we go back to more common. Since we are off to a slow start, let's do something that, well, at least a certain audience can appreciate. We've got more BlazBlue here. This is not focusing, but what this is this one is BlazBlue Continuum Shift Extend. So if you don't and aren't aware, first of all, if you haven't played BlazBlue, and I talked about this in my PS4, because we haven't done PS3 yet, yeah, PS4 video, you need to play BlazBlue. It's a fucking amazing fighting game. It's my personal favorite of all time. But yeah, anyway, so Continuum Shift is the second game in the series. The Extend is like, you know how Street Fighter has Street Fighter and then Super Street Fighter? Well, this is their version of Super Street Fighter, so it's just an updated version of... the fact that they still do that with fighting games to this day is crazy. And then we have the first BlazBlue game, and this actually is a special edition, not a big one. And I just bought it recently, but I got it for like $10, so I was like, why the fuck not? And so this is the first BlazBlue game, and we will try to get this open here. There's not much to see though. It comes in a nice box. There's the receipt for that. How much did I don't know. I don't remember. I'll look at it later. We'll set that off to the side. And it came with a DVD with bonus discs, which I believe contain like a behind-the-scenes look at the game. I don't remember. It doesn't actually say on the disc. I'm sure it says on the box. And I guess it was in collaboration with IGN. And by the way, the BlazBlue games are made by Axes. Sorry, Axes is the localization company. Arc, there's their logo. Arc is a really tiny logo. System Works, which is the same company that made Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear, the Persona fighting games. They just make phenomenal fighting games. They haven't made a bad one. So if you've played Dragon Ball FighterZ, now that they're kind of mainstream, or at least that game is mainstream, so it kind of makes people go, who's Arc System Works? Well, there you go. Look them up. They make this. They've been making phenomenal games for years. You just didn't know because you didn't look hard enough, I guess. I don't know. But now you can. Yeah, I love the artwork to BlazBlue. It's got some of my favorite characters ever. I'm not going to preach too much more about it. Like I already did my PS4 one. Instruction manual is pretty good for the time. Not bad. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Not a big special edition by any means, but certainly something. So let's get yeah, it's something. No, it was decent, you know, for the first game in the series, and having it be a small company. It's whatever, you know. But I like it. It's a piece of BlazBlue history. So let's get some common stuff out of the way. Black Ops 1, probably still my favorite Call of Duty. If not, it's Black Ops 2. This has Black Ops 1 and 2, so I actually have 2 copies of Black Ops 1. So these are not my original copies. What happened was when the game went backwards compatible, my first copy of Black Ops 1 broke. Black Ops 2 copy broke. Then the Xbox One X, or the Xbox One came out, and I was like, I don't give a shit anymore. And as well as Black Ops 3. And so I re-bought it, and I bought one for my friend the same day, but they only had one copy of the original, which was about $15. This was $20, so you got another game for an extra $5, but I didn't really need Black Ops 2 because it wasn't backwards compatible yet, but I ended up just buying it, and then he's like, oh, I already bought it. So yeah, so I was just kind of stuck with 2 copies. Whatever, I don't have much to say about it. I know people give Call of Duty shit all the time, but they're still fun. They're just the same. Let's go. We already did fighting game. We did a special edition. Let's ignore that. How about okay, here. I got it. I got this. I got you. It's a fantastic game too. If you haven't played Metal Gear Solid Rising, and I do not understand how people... I still hear a lot of hate for this game. I do not fucking get it. I guess they just wanted the next main series Metal Gear game, but dude, this game is phenomenal. Dude, as if I'm talking to one person. Yeah, you play as Raiden from Metal Gear, but it's more of like a beat 'em up, and I do... is this Platinum Games? It is. It's Platinum Games, which is from the creators of Bayonetta, and some of them originally Devil May Cry. And still have the receipt there too. The music in this game is phenomenal. Like everything, it looks great, even for a 360 game back in the day. Yeah, I just fucking, if you haven't played Metal Gear Rising, it's literally just it's one of the best action games I've ever played. It's just the way that the gameplay works. Like, normally in action games, especially around the 360 era, it was all based on, like, QuickTime events. This is not, although it does have a couple, I believe. But you really just feel like you're, like, have a sword and you're like, or whatever. Like, it's I don't know. It feels like you're actually playing as, like, a badass samurai ninja thing, whatever he is, cyborg ninja. It doesn't feel like you're watching a badass samurai cyborg ninja. So I'm gonna cut the camera for a moment and I'll grab a couple more here. Alright, we're ready with a few more. First off, we got Bayonetta. This is not my original copy. Once again, my first copy got sold. This is such an amazing game. This is my favorite action game of all time. Well, if not Bayonetta 2, I mean just the series in general. Probably Bayonetta 2 is better, I'd say. And yeah, this is also from Platinum Games. Just kind of chose it next because I gotta finish my sentences. That's why I chose this next, is because I figured it'd tie into that pretty well. Once again, if you haven't played Bayonetta, if you've only heard about her in Smash or whatever, like, man, when this game came out, I bought it probably a few months after it came out, and I was just fucking blown away with how fun and amazing it is. Little bit sexualized, but it's not really like where they're trying to fan service you. It's more of a joke. It's like ridiculous how sexualized she is. It's like they did it on purpose. Yeah, so I just like to point that out with certain games because I know that does bother people. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. You know what I mean here. But whatever. Anyways, how about these two? So this is interesting. Crazy. Not super crazy, but story about these two. First of all, underrated Eternal Sonata. Tales of Vesperia, not really underrated because it's seen as like one of the best Tales games. I'd say people, and sorry about the glare, I'm trying to mess with the camera a bit so that doesn't happen. A lot of people see this as maybe like the second, third, fourth best Tales game. Tales. And there's a ton of them. Interestingly enough, though, back in the day, I guess these two, when did they come out? It was pretty early in the 360. I'm looking for a date. This one says it's got a copyright of 2007, so it probably came out in 07, 08-ish. And what's interesting is when I was going to the store, and GameStop at the time, and this was the same time I bought Resonance of Fate when I bought it again, because I saw that. So that would have been like what did that say, 2011 on the receipt, whatever, 2013, whatever it said. And they had both of these, so and I think I knew that, or I said to myself, well, if they only have one, which one do I get, or if I can't afford both. Well, I think I could afford both. I didn't want to spend the money on both. And what's crazy is that I was like, man, they're actually kind of similar, you know? Just in, like, RPG and, like, the look. This one's not really an anime style, but it has a little bit of that, but it also kind of strikes me as, like, almost that Winnie the Pooh European fantasy look. I don't know. This one's clearly a lot more, like, you know, anime. But anyways, so I ended up looking up online just like which should I get. I was curious, and apparently this was a big topic when these games came out. I think they came out, at least in Japan. If it wasn't in Japan, it was in America, like 1 week after the other, and a lot of people debated like which one they should get, because at the time they would have both been probably $60 or whatever, and they had to decide. I was like, that's crazy that like years later I'm having to make the same decision on used games, because I think at the time I just wanted an RPG. I only had my 360 really, so I just thought like, man, I've heard great things about this. I knew I would like this because I like Tales of Symphonia, so I was like, which one do I get? And like, yeah, that was like a big forum post. Needless to say, I ended up buying both. But it's crazy that these two have like those similarities. But yeah, Eternal Sonata is like a music-based RPG. It's pretty dang good. I like it a lot. If you're a big fan of like the anime kind of style, and you're expecting like fan service or crazy action or like big giant dragon bosses or something, probably this. Not so much this. This one is its own thing. But it's still really fun to play. And it has the same thing as Tales series, where you can like do co-op during the fights. Although I still haven't figured out how to do it in this one. You can. It's 1 to 3 players, so that's cool. Speaking of animes, whatever you choose to call it, here we go. You all know, if you've seen a couple of my videos, I'm sure you know that Persona is probably my favorite series of all time, if not. It's like Sonic. That's the thing. Like, my favorite was Sonic, but it's like, well, Sonic is so inconsistent. It's like, some of the Sonic games are my favorite games of all time, but can I really say it's my favorite series? It's certainly... Sonic is still certainly one of my favorite pop culture icons, but in terms of consistency in series, Persona is the GOAT for me. And this is the fighting game, also made by the same company that made Dragon Ball FighterZ, BlazBlue up here. They made the Persona fighting game, and it's just phenomenal. You do not get a better crossover than Atlas and Arc System Works. That is an amazing crossover, and what turned out is an amazing fighting game. Persona 4 Arena is phenomenal. If you're not good at fighting games, Persona 4 Arena makes it really easy. It has like the auto fight feature if you want to use it, like Dragon Ball FighterZ. The only thing is, in Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's not an option to do the like auto fight, like where you hit X 5 times and they just do this like combo. In this game, that's an option, so you don't have to have that on if you want to have full control over your fighter. But if you're not great at fighting games, this one's got an amazing story. I can't say the same for Part 2 in terms of the story, unfortunately, because Persona is known for its stories, and Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, and we'll get to that when we do PS3, because I actually have that one on PS3. Yeah, they didn't finish out the story very well, in my opinion, but regardless, even if you haven't played Persona 4, because this is technically, story-wise, it's a sequel, you can still really get into this story-wise and whatnot, and even just gameplay-wise, of course. How about we get these out of the way, because y'all know I love Sonic too. So, this was my first 360 game. This is not the copy of it, but this is a copy of it. Sega Superstars Tennis. I ended up buying this years later for like $2, just because I had nostalgia for it. I know it's not a great game. A lot of people don't see it as a great game, but it's still a fine like tennis game. It like works and everything. Not as good as like maybe Mario Tennis. To be honest, I don't even really like those much, but I just had so much nostalgia for it. Had to get it. I like the Sega Superstars. I like to be able to see them. Ooh la la, that's a great game. Space Channel 5. Super Monkey Ball is a great game. I never really played... I played the Wii Samba de Amigo. That one sucked, but I never played the Dreamcast one. Jet Set Radio is a great game. You know, Knights. I liked seeing the Sega All-Stars and stuff, so... Puyo Puyo, yay. Yeah, so there's that. I'm sure a lot of people have that game and just threw it in the trash can because it came with Xbox 360s later on. We've got Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. This was a really good collection on 360. Now they have a new one for the Xbox One and the PS4. This was also on PS3. You could play a lot of Sega games in HD. I think that it was more significant because of that, whereas the Xbox One and PS4 version, I don't think they really add anything graphically. So these are great ports, HD-wise. You know how plugging a Sega Genesis into an HD TV, if you have some kind of adapter to be able to do that, doesn't work well? Well, here's your solution, at least for 30 games, plus some old-school arcade games. But it's got great games, you know, Sonic, Altered Beast is great, Streets of Rage is better, Golden Axe is amazing, you know, whatever. So that's a great collection. Not much else to say. We've got Sonic Unleashed. This is once again, obviously not my original copy. I did get this day one. I waited for this fucking game. I was like pestering the guy at GameStop to open the shipment boxes he got so I could get my game. And he wouldn't do it for so long, but he finally did, because I wouldn't leave him alone. My opinion on Sonic Unleashed is the same as everything. This sucks. This is amazing. Or at least pretty close to amazing. I've been playing this recently because it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One, and even the daytime stages can be a little not great. But hey, get out of here. We've got this one, which perfected daytime stages, basically. It perfected the 3D Hedgehog engine model, in my opinion. Sonic Generations is a great fucking game. This is where Sonic shines best. If you haven't played Generations, highly recommend that. Even if you're just a fan of platform, it's got some good platforming. Not as technical and skill mastered as like Sonic Colors, but still some really great platforming. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing featuring Banjo-Kazooie. So the Xbox 360 one came with Banjo-Kazooie, which is pretty sweet. And yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this with, probably not. Oh, no, I haven't, because that's also in the 360. Yeah, I was going to say, I am one of those people who think that this series is better than Mario Kart. The first one, no, yeah, fuck it, they're both. I think, I love Mario Kart, but the skill-based racing in this, as opposed to some of the more luck-based in Mario Kart, and not that Mario Kart's all luck-based, but it definitely has a lot more luck involved than this. And the speed of these games are just amazing. Tomorrow, Team Sonic Racing comes out tomorrow at the time of recording this video. I'm so excited. Like, I haven't been this excited for a party racer in ever. Since probably Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart on the Wii U, maybe, 8. Yeah, fuck, man. I don't know what else to say. Like, this, if you haven't played this, it takes some getting used to control-wise. Don't go into it thinking like, oh, this is like Mario Kart, I'll be able to pick it up. And no, it'll take a bit, but this is phenomenal. I like it a lot more. So, let me cut again. So, I was actually playing this one yesterday in preparation for Team Sonic Racing, so I had to go pick it up, which is why I cut the video for a moment. So this is the sequel, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. My opinion on which one's better, so I used to think I was about 50-50. Like, they changed some things with this one that I wish they kept in this one. I will say I wish some of the tracks from this one were in this one. But overall, this one is definitely better. There's just improvements. The transforming cars and stuff is pretty sweet. But on top of that, I think the items are a little bit better, a little bit more inspired. Yeah, I think overall it just runs better. But they're both really, really good. Like, you could play through both and have a great time. It's not like you miss the boat. Go play them. And play Team Sonic Racing, because that looks really good. This is the other one that I've been playing recently. That was over there. Oh boy, where do I begin with this series? So, Dark Souls is actually a series, little story time here, that I actually found out about it through Demon's Souls. So I had a friend who would kind of know about obscure games. He's the same friend who introduced me to BlazBlue. He's the same friend who introduced me to Persona. Even Resonance of Fate. Yeah, I was trying to think of other things he introduced me to. Well, he got Demon's Souls back in the day because he thought it looked like a really neat game. Turns out, it wasn't just neat, it was one of the next big phenomenons in gaming. And I didn't have a PS3 though. So we just patiently waited for like a Demon's Souls 2, and I would go to his house, watch him play it. Didn't really play it much myself, I'd mostly just watch him. And then finally they announced, oh, Dark Souls. So I took the day off of school for this because I was so excited, just because I loved the way Demon Souls looked and stuff. And not only did so I thought I was gonna like this game. Not only did I end up liking it, this is one of my favorite series of all time. People, obviously, you hear about them talk about it all the time now. So some people probably get sick of hearing about it, how hard it is, and how. And I've also been hearing from a lot of people, like, Dark Souls actually isn't a hard game. It's really not that hard. You just have to know what to do. Okay, but if you played this shit on day one, this shit was fucking hard. Yeah, nowadays, I can just go through the whole game and honestly probably get hit like 10 times total on my first playthrough. But no, this was a hard game. Like, it was. For people to say, oh, it's not really that hard. Bullshit. You just know what to do. You've looked it up. You've played through it a couple times, but when it first came out, this game was hard. Yeah, I lost to the Moonlight Butterfly a bunch, and that's one of the weakest, worst bosses in the game. And you might think, well, it's because you sucked. Well, yeah, but we all sucked. That's the thing. But now we're all good at it. Like, the Moonlight Butterfly, like, really you just have to learn basic essentials to maneuvering in this game, right? To beat it. You really don't have to be super powerful or anything. And even that took some time in terms of getting used to. So, but yeah, Dark Souls 1. I love how also in Dark Souls 1, most series, right? So here's a great example here of what makes the story wonderful throughout as a series. Not only do you like learn about the story, like I just remember walking through places in Dark Souls and I'm like, wow, this game doesn't like tell a story. Like it doesn't like flat out just tell it to you directly through voice acting for the most part. But you like walk into the forest area and you'll see things. You see spears or something in the ground, see like dead creatures or something, or just like beautiful scenery, and you're like, something happened here. You know there's a story, but you don't know what it is. The Dark Souls lore, just going into it, is one of the most amazing like experiences in all of gaming. Like, play through the game, don't look up the lore, and then look up the lore once you beat it, and you'll start to understand like what makes this so amazing to just explore. You're like, wow, like there's so much behind Seath the Scaleless. I thought he was just this dragon I fought, and it's like, no, he's, or like Anor Londo, or just whatever. I could go on forever about Dark Souls, so I'm gonna stop because I have a lot to say. One last thing, though, what I was saying about the story is what's really cool about Dark Souls 1 is that when it came out, we fought all these guys. Like, we fought Lord Gwyn, Seath the Scaleless, Gravelord Nito, a lot of those bosses, even Ornstein. We fight them, and then by the time Dark Souls 2 and 3 come out, they're seen as legends, almost as if we're not even supposed to know much about them, and yet we do, because we played through this. So it's like, man, when they bring up, like, Lord Gwyn, they're like, they say there was a king, and you're like, oh my god, it's it's Gwyn, that's what they're talking about, or something. You, like, flip your shit, because you're just, it takes you a while to realize, like, wow, the people in the timeline of Dark Souls 2 or 3 don't know who these are. You fight the legends of the series. Like, you think of, like, maybe if you haven't seen Naruto, I'll try to give a couple examples. You think, like, in Naruto, right? The whole series, they talk about, like, the first Hokage, Madara Uchiha, and then you don't see them or learn about them till the end. I can't think of another series that kind of does that. Or like Dragon Ball, really, like the Super Saiyan thing, that maybe people can identify with that one more. They talk about it so much, and then he finally turns into a Super Saiyan, he becomes the legend or something, right? This is the reverse, where it's like, imagine if in Dragon Ball, and they kind of did this with the Bardock thing, but let's just pretend that didn't happen for a minute. It's like in Dragon Ball, if like Goku, the story started out with the Goku battle turning Super Saiyan, and then later in the series, people like say like there was a legendary Super Saiyan. It's like that. This whole game, you're fighting all these like what you don't realize are going to be the strongest, most powerful, legendary creatures in all of time. And then Dark Souls 2 and 3, there's more of those legendary creatures, but they're not seen as on the level of the characters in that. It's just amazing. I love it. Anyways, that's enough gushing about Dark Souls. Let's we just have a few more here. Let's get these out of the way. Say what you want about them now, but at the time, Rock Band 2, having all the instruments, and well, Rock Band 1 had them all, but Rock Band 2 was probably the best the series has ever been. This is actually my personal favorite Guitar Hero game. Yeah, the last one, a lot of people haven't played this one. Warriors of Rock is amazing. Rock Band 2 and the series, like, I won't get into them too much, but let's go over what made Rock Band 2 great really quick. The soundtrack is just, it's amazing no matter what you're looking for. You know, Offspring, punk music, Metallica, Megadeth, metal, Linkin Park, new metal, Foo Fighters, 90s alternative, Cheap Tricks. Those are all rock bands, but they also have like some indie rock. Avenged Sevenfold, which isn't indie rock, but Smashing Pumpkins, there you go. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rush, The Who, Talking Heads. Like, there's just a huge variety. If you're into something, a type of music, they have it in Rock Band. So that's really what helped make that big, besides, of course, having the extra instruments. Well, this also has all the instruments. Guitar Hero, Warriors of Rock. This one, in my opinion, is like some hardcore rock, though. This has a lot of, like, Avenged Sevenfold, Black Sabbath. There's Def Leppard, so Death Clock, Dragon Force, Kiss isn't like hardcore, but is it 3 or 4 Megadeth songs, so that's crazy. It's like the big finale of the game. This one's got more my type of music, I guess, but Rock Band has a really good variety and way better DLC. Yeah, what else do you say about the Guitar Hero games and stuff? So here, we could do these. Right now, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to throw in original Xbox games in this video, too, just because I only have 2, and it's Halo 1 and 2. I don't know what else to say. Like, I didn't play these really. I played Halo 1 at a friend's house once, but other than that, I didn't start getting into Halo until Halo 3, and that became one of my favorite series. Halo 3, or just Halo in general, is still my competitive multiplayer shooter. I've tried others, you know, Call of Duty, I like all of them, really. Any of the competitive shooters. Overwatch, I played competitively for a while, but it always just, it's never felt right to me. Like, it's like I need it to be Halo. When I play competitively, when we were doing Overwatch, there was times I'm like, why am I not doing this with Halo? I guess because Halo's kind of fallen a bit, right? But I'm so good at it, and sometimes I wish I could have done more. Halo Wars, pretty good game. Halo Wars 2, I haven't heard great things about, haven't played it. I bought this because it's backwards compatible. Halo Reach, also bought this because it's backwards compatible. This is probably my least favorite Halo competitive experience, besides maybe... Honestly, I had more fun with Halo 4's competitive experience. I'm not saying it's better, because I don't think it is, but I actually like Halo 5's competitive experience a lot more than this one. But even Halo 4, like, I don't think it was as balanced or anything, which is the most important thing, but I honestly had more fun with it. So if that says anything about Halo Reach to you, I don't know. Let's do... this. So this is actually alongside Catherine, which I do still have the special edition now that I think about it, but it's not here next to me. So I will have to go grab that in a minute. Alongside Catherine, this was the very first. So let me put it this way. Catherine was the very first special edition I ever pre-ordered. This is the very first one I ever bought. So I didn't get through Final Fantasy 13. This is Final Fantasy 13 too, by the way. But my friends did, and then my brother sold my copy of Final Fantasy 13-1. So I didn't really understand the story, but I was like, I mean, what could all possibly happen? So it's pretty neat here. You got Lightning on one side, the the forgettable-ass villain of this game on the other. And then Oop, I'm running out of room here. I'll have to clean that up in a minute. You've got this conceptual artwork book, which is just terrible. It's like, I mean, the art itself is good, but it's literally like 4 pages of those, and then, okay, 4.5, and then like the weapons, and then like 2 pictures. That is it. And, by the way, it's supposed to be attached to the book. It ripped out almost immediately, so not good, Square Enix. What's in here? Instruction manuals. We got soundtrack listing, because it does come with the soundtrack. We'll get to that in a minute. Oops, give me a moment. I really am running out of room here. The disc. What I really do like is that it's in this nice white, booklet here. And here we go. Also not good, but we'll get to this in a minute. So, this is the soundtrack. You're like, where's the other 2 discs? They're in here. Because, once again, these things broke almost immediately. Now, how many songs are on here? A fuck ton. I'm pretty sure... Where's that listing at? Each one of these discs. So, disc 1, 20 songs. Disc 2, 19 songs. Disc 3, 19. Disc 4, 20. So, a ton of songs. Couple of neat ones like Chocobo Rodeo. Wow, that's a song if you haven't heard that. It's kind of funny. But, yeah, not the greatest first special edition I could have got. Decent game. People give, like, the 13 series a lot of shit. 13.2 is actually not that bad. In fact, it's not bad at all. 13.2 is good, but, not amazing. I don't know. Final Fantasy, I think, really dropped the ball with a lot of the 13 stuff. And, so yeah, so I'm going to clean up this a little bit, and we're going to go get that Catherine Special Edition real quick. Alright, so, we're back. I didn't want to forget about this one. I do plan on doing a video at the end of the year, in case I missed any, like, games, and to also do special gaming stuff. And I thought about putting it there, but I really like this game, so I want to show it off. Catherine is an adult-based, and I don't mean adult as in it's a porn. I mean adult-based just, in that it kind of deals with the story of adults. So you can think, like, Persona in the story, a lot of the problems they go through are problems that teenagers go through. Catherine in the story, because it is made by the same people, by the way, that made Persona, is about adults and a lot of the problems that adults go through. So that's cool. And this is the Love is Over Deluxe Edition. This is the first special edition I got that I thought was awesome. It comes in a Stray Sheep pizza box, hot, ready, and delicious, special delivery, which is the pizza place that you are at in the game. Actually, it's a bar, but they deliver pizza. Did not take the greatest care of the box. I regret my high school decision. And by the way, the 360 version has this Catherine on the front. There's 2 Catherines in the game if you haven't played. The PlayStation one has her on the front. So, yeah. Anyways. So yeah, so this game is a little bit risque. I will say, I don't think, and I'm already looking right now, I don't have the pillowcase on me. My girlfriend put it somewhere when we moved, so that's what the pillowcase looks like. It's got Catherine on it. It's not like a full body pillow. It's just a case. Mine's also a little worn out, and I know what you're all thinking, but no. But no, it really is like worn out a little bit. I wish I would have taken better care of that, not fucked it so much. No, I didn't fuck it, but yeah. So that's somewhere. I'd have to ask her. So maybe at the end of the year I'll show that off. Not much to see really. Like I said, it's right there. But I do have it around. I will say, interestingly enough, what I don't have is the Xbox 360 game. I actually don't own the game anymore. I sold the game years ago because I needed money for something really bad. I think it was like food or... but I wanted to keep the special edition because I loved the game so much, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting rid of that stuff. But I do, and we'll get to this, because I didn't have a 360 for a while, and I ended up finding a version later for the PS3 over there. So I actually do have the PS3 version, so I have the game, just doesn't match here. Whatever. Someday I'd like to get the 360 game back and then the special edition for the PS3, but they are very expensive now, which is why I wish I took better care of it. In other news, there is a remake of this game coming out later this year that also has a special edition that looks not as good, but still pretty good. The Steelbook is incredible. I had a podcast video on that. But anyway, so we have, this is the art book and sound disc. Yeah, so it's a, I don't know if it's the full soundtrack. It's got Catherine with a C on there, so the blonde one is Catherine with a C. And Catherine is a puzzle-based game, hence the puzzle pieces, I guess. And once again, it's one of those games, it's like, it's not amazing. I think this one's a great game, though, unlike Residence of Fate. It is a great one, not just a good. But it's nothing like you've ever seen, really. You won't play a game like it. Not in the near future, at least. So, there's Catherine with C. There's got the characters. This is pretty decent. Gives us some bios. It's not meant to be like a full-fledged art book, so I'm not really criticizing it too much. Here they just show like how they drew that picture on the front, which is actually pretty detailed. That's pretty cool that they like walk you through it a little bit, and then they get the color in. Yeah. Which is the picture on the front there. And this game is a little fan servicey, but I gotta say, Catherine is one of the... Well, it's not fan servicey in a ridiculous way. It's just an adult like game. Is it really fan service if they're trying to portray to adults? Not really. Once you play the game, you'll understand. Like, she seduces you at one point, but it all makes total sense. It's not like in anime where like the girl like bends over to pick up a wrench off the ground. She's like, oopsie, like, and it's just like ridiculous, you know? This is not like that at all. It is just like an adult style game. So I feel like as long as you're mature enough, ignore the fact that they have these quote unquote seductive pictures and understand that they're there because it just makes sense within the context of the game. So that's actually the PS3 cover. So the 360 one, you know, there, and that's what the actual game case looks like too. I'm really sorry about the glare. So we've got the 360 cover there, and then the PS3 one there. And if you, depending on where you go, by the way, because Walmart and places had censored versions of these, which I think is so stupid. I'm so against censorship, and it's just it's not even that big of a deal. With the censored version of hers, they basically like, it's just this, and you can see why, I guess, but still. Hers makes even less sense. Hers is like, it's like this or something. I will not stand for those fucking censored ass covers. Sorry. And then the soundtrack, which doesn't say what's on it. I know the song Hallelujah is on it because that plays in the game, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, if you haven't played Catherine, it's a dope game, but it's very hard. It is not an easy game. You can play it on easy difficulty and it's easy, but just like even the normal game, like some of the later stages are like, holy fuck, like hard. It came with these boxers, which no, I haven't worn them if you're asking. I guess I wore them once, but they were too small, and then I never wore them again, which is why I never wore them, because they were too small. The bottom here kind of doesn't work very well. But these are the boxers Vincent wears in the game. When he's in the nightmare, you can see them on the cover there, just a little bit. And then, besides the pillowcase, the last thing it came with was a shirt, which apparently is a Zelda reference, and I can understand why it would be a Zelda reference, because it's got the hearts. I don't really know how empty pertains to Zelda. But that's all that's on the shirt. And there's a point in the game where this Catherine wears it. It's Vince's shirt, but you wake up and she's wearing it. So that's what that is. And yeah, I know that one took 8 minutes to explain, but there's a lot there. So that's Catherine. If you haven't played that, I highly recommend that. Let's go to... We just have a last... Yeah, just the last couple games here. Perfect Dark Zero. Oh boy. About the time that Rare was acquired by Microsoft. What do I say about this? Honestly, the gameplay I think is fine. The multiplayer is actually fun. It's underrated in that aspect. But for the story that it told, it deserves all the shit that it got. I don't even have a case for this game. I don't even have a fucking case. That's how little I care about it. I was such a fan of the first Perfect Dark, and just, ugh. That game just, no. Injustice, fantastic fighting game. Not one of my favorites of all time, but certainly a very good one. The story is surprisingly really good. The story to the second one is pretty good, but I don't think it's as good as the first one's story. This is, I believe, yeah, from the creators of Mortal Kombat, so it plays very much like Mortal Kombat. It's all superheroes. This is the Gods Among Us, the Ultimate Edition. Whoops. And the Ultimate Edition came with all these extra characters, like Batwoman and... fuck, what is his name? Why can't I think of his name? He was in the Justice League at one point. Whatever. Green Martian Man. But yeah, and then some extra characters and costumes there. So, that's very good. Here we go. Tekken, second favorite fighting game series of all time. Right after BlazBlue. Favorite 3D one for sure, though. This one is actually Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and it is actually, if I can take all this out, a reversible cover. So on one cover you've got Jin and Heihachi. And Jin is my favorite character. If Heihachi wasn't on the front, I probably would have had that cover on the front here. But I like the Williams sisters too, specifically Nina, but I'm not big on Heihachi. I mean, I know he's the face of the series and all, but I just didn't want another fucking, or a Tekken cover with Heihachi on it, I guess. I don't know. It's young Heihachi though, so that's pretty cool. But anyways, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is very fun. It's all tag-based fighting, this one, and yeah, I actually do own Tekken 6 still, but it's digital on my Xbox, and yes, I was watching Oni plays Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, Tekken's, it's just a really good fighting series. Got some of my favorite characters, great story. A lot of you have probably seen Tekken, so I'm not going to go into it. This, 2 games left, 2 games. This one, Naruto Rise of a Ninja. Very underrated Naruto game. I don't know how people don't know about this, really. So, around the time, what they were doing with Naruto games is they made one on each console. They had a DS one, which was, I think, Ninja Council. They had, they had the Ninja Academy games too, or whatever, but I'm not sure if that fit into this story. They had Clash of Ninja on the GameCube and then the Wii. They had the PSP ones, like Ultimate Ninja Heroes. I never got to play those, but they actually look good, so I'm not sure about those. The PlayStation got Ninja Storm, which is the one they ended up going with and the one that took off. But the 360 game, too, Rise of a Ninja, is also a really good game. And the open world aspect is actually better than the first Ninja Storm game, which would have been its, like, competitor, if that makes sense. They were all made by different companies, I'm pretty sure. So this is actually a Ubisoft published game. I assume they didn't make it and they just published it, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyways, basically, what isn't as good in this as Ninja Storm is the fighting. The fighting is worse. It's like a 2D fighter kind of thing. Do they have a picture of the fighting? The middle picture kind of is. So it's like 2D fighting, like Street Fighter style, but it's not very intuitive. But it's still good. Like, it's still fun. You do all these mini games, like climbing the trees. I think they have like the forest jump mini game, but running through the towns is fun. You can play as all the different characters, like in town. Or no, sorry. In this one, you can only play as Naruto. In the sequel, Broken Bond 2, Naruto the Broken Bond, which is the sequel to this one, you can play as like Sasuke and actually Sasuke leaves in that one. Well, you can play as the other characters. You can play as like Shikamaru, I know, and Sakura and Ino and stuff. It's right before Shippuden, the second one, so it leads all the way up. This one goes up to the... Is it the end of the Chunin exams? I don't remember. But if you're thinking it's a short game, it's not super short. I mean, you could probably beat it in a day. Not 100% it, though. Unless you really, like, put a lot of time into it. You had the whole day to yourself. But, they drag it out. They drag out the story enough and get some extra things for you to do that it's really fun. Actually, no, I think it goes past the Chunin exams, because this has Jiraiya, the Jiraiya Tsunade story, I think. So, anyways, this is an amazing Naruto game. I would love to stream this one sometime, play it, whatever. Maybe I'll do that and then put it on YouTube just so people can, like, see what it's all about, because it's really good. Okay, so I had a weird, possibly weird cutaway with the Naruto thing there, because my camera battery got full. This camera just kind of sucks, but it's all I got. So this is Dead or Alive 5, and I lied. We have 2 games, actually. I said there was 1. There's 2. I personally think I am saving the best for last. So we've got Dead or Alive 5 here. This is a collector's edition. It was a GameStop exclusive. I bought this about 3 years ago. It looks like, because it came in this little slipcase. And I bought this for $30. So I don't know how much it was when it first came out. But I really like Dead or Alive 5. If it wasn't for Dead or Alive 5, I probably wouldn't have liked the series, because I really didn't like 4, or I haven't played any of them besides 4, I guess. I guess I played a little of the 3rd, I think. But I wasn't a huge fan, so I would say this would be my favorite 3D fighting series, because 5 is just so good. If it wasn't for the fact that I wasn't a big fan of Dead or Alive before this. But yeah, anybody that knows Dead or Alive, you know that it's very fan servicey. That's hot guys and hot girls all around. So this might have some fan service. I'm not sure. Well, come on, it will. This is the regular version of Dead or Alive 5, so it's not Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate or anything like that. But if you can look past the fan service of Dead or Alive, people make fun of it a lot. It's an amazing fighting game. I really want 6, but it didn't do so well. The DLC is stupid, just like it is in 5. And I'm just going to wait for the price to go down. So, here's an art book it came with. And I'm trying to fix the glare here, too. See how good... I recall this one not being great. It looks like it's got each character. So, here's Kasumi in her not normal outfit. There's her normal outfit. Main character, her sister, Ayane. Everyone's got big-ass titties. Well, I guess not everyone, but... who's that again? Lei Feng? Yeah. I usually played as... Where is she? There she is. Hitomi is who I usually played as. I tried Ryu for a bit, but I wasn't very good with him, so... there's Kokoro. Yeah, you get the idea. This is not bad. It's just the characters, it seems, for the most part. But even in the back, there's some concept art. They have little descriptions at the beginning, so... like, there's one. Not much there. But there's a little bit, just enough to give you an idea of a lot of the characters. And, oh yeah, and that's actually Sarah Bryant from Virtua Fighter. So that's pretty sweet. Never really played Virtua Fighter that much, but, and they had Akira from Virtua Fighter in this game as well. So there's Bass. Yeah, I don't know. It's a decent art book. It's pretty good. Not oh, there's a lot of descriptions for the stages and stuff though, so that's cool. Yeah, actually this is pretty dang good. They definitely prioritize characters more than they do like anything else, but the stages get their own section. They have some extra like concept art here in the back of different costumes. I like how Hayate gets his one little section of 4 costumes. Some characters have more than others too, because it's just, you could tell they definitely focus on the women way more, because like there's Elliot's little section, Brad Wong's little section, Hitomi has like that section that's giant. You know, it takes up most of the page. But these are actually pretty cool concept. Those are all in 2D, so that's neat. But yeah, Dead or Alive 5, phenomenal fighting game. Oh, and then I guess it came with this, but of course I bought this years after this came out. Oh man, I'm really having trouble getting this out. There's just this little picture of Kasumi in a bikini, and then it had Kasumi fully exposed. They're totally trying to make you think that she's naked, but she's not. Get a free character profile of Kasumi that will show you all of her moves, combos, yeah. There's a code down there. I'm not going to show it, but I don't think it would matter, because when I got this game, the code was already used anyways, but just in case, I'm pretty sure that it's used. We got a poster of just the cover. So this is what the cover of the game looks like. I just won't open it all the way, but it's a neat poster. And it's not very big though. This, oh yeah, this gave you premium swimsuits, so you can tell what kind of series this is. Here's the game itself. Like I said, it's not Ultimate or anything, it's just the original one. It's still a very good version of it though, it's fine, it's perfectly fine. And then the soundtrack, which once again, I don't know if it's a full soundtrack or... but I wonder if this has the song by Lotus Juice, the guy who does some of the Persona music. He had a song in this game, so that's neat. Alright, so my battery's dying, so we're going to try to hurry up, get this pushed off to the side, and in the middle of trying to, come on, get my camera fixed, because I had said that it was full of space or whatever, I ended up moving all my stuff back. So all the 360 games are over there. So I'm not going to do like that thing at the end where I usually like pan out and show my mess, because I've already cleaned it up. Just preparing ahead of time. Okay, here we go, the last one, and the first game that really made me believe in the next generation of the 360, back when it was around, although I had Halo 3 first, but Halo was like expected to be good. Oblivion. Oh man. I have just too many good memories of Oblivion. It was my first. I didn't even know it was part of a series. I just remember, like, I went to my friend's house, I started seeing him do this thing with magic. He was like shooting fireballs, and I had saw 2 friends play it, and then the second friend I actually asked what the game was, and he said Oblivion, and so I enjoyed watching him play it so much. I was like, why not play it for myself? I didn't understand it at first. It was a bigger thing for me at the time. After making a new character, my first character was awful. I made a new one. Like the first character, I got to the first Oblivion Gate and just got slaughtered. Didn't know what I was doing. And this is the collector's edition, by the way. There's one thing missing out of it, but we'll get to that. And but yeah, I ended up waiting at GameStop I went to go to GameStop and I'm just gonna buy it. And then when I get there, the guy's like, "Are you 18 or 17? Because it's rated M." Wait, it's rated T. Did he fuck with me? Well, whatever. He had claimed I wasn't old enough. If I was, I don't know. But maybe I wasn't at the time. And so I had to go and... I just waited for my dad at the mall all day because there was one copy. It was used. I didn't want to... And this is not the copy, once again. It's... yeah, Oblivion is just... it's one of the best games I've ever played. It's a little dated now. For people who think that Oblivion is better than Skyrim, I kind of thought to myself, like, when Skyrim came around, I missed the lush fantasy scenery, the grass everywhere. It just looked like its own fantasy world. There's like 2 or 3 moons in the sky, if you ever noticed that, or whatever. While I don't enjoy the scenery of Skyrim as much, after having played both of them nearly at the same time recently, Skyrim is a much better game. The quests are better, the combat's better, the story's better, the acting, the people look better, the perk system's better. I miss some of the hilarity with the dumb AI in this game and things like that, and I miss the scenery. I love Cyrodiil over the land of Skyrim for sure. Or sorry, Cyrodiil? Cyrodiil's the whole... Or wait, the whole continent is... Yeah, whatever. You get what I mean. The region in this game, Tamriel is the whole continent, right? Or that's like everything. Cyrodiil is where this game takes place. Skyrim takes place in Skyrim. Another really cool thing about this, and I bought this collector's edition fairly recently. A little beat up. The top here is actually ripped, but they had taped it pretty well, so thanks to whoever sold it. And it's supposed to come with this pocket guide, which I do have over there, and... Making of Oblivion documentary. I bet that's actually pretty neat and old school. And then the Imperial Septim coin is the one thing that didn't come with it. And it's like, dang it, that's probably the coolest thing too, but oh well. I didn't pay too much for this. So, we've got this pocket manual, which is really in-depth, and it goes into a lot of the lore, not just for Cyrodiil, but like I just saw that. There was a page on... Damn it, I lost it. There were some things on Morrowind, though. They showed the map of Morrowind. There it is, which is the game before this. I just remember I'd been playing this game for like a few months, and then I like really paid close attention. There's all the symbols that you can get at the beginning of the game. It even has like this, you can't see it, but the like Skyrim looking logo on the front there. But yeah. And then, yeah, but it just goes, like, really in-depth, not just with this game, but with all the other ones, too. So that's pretty sweet. There's that bonus disc. It, like, folds out, so... And then you've got the, oh, yeah, and then a map. But these games always come with that. Somebody had actually done a really, like... Look how in-depth... It's the person that owned this before me, like, super in-depth with the, like what they need to do. Like they have like all these notes they took, and then they like, here's some like the quests they were doing. It's crazy. Somebody like really went all in on this game. They even drew some flowers. So anyways, yeah, that's Oblivion, and that's the end of the Xbox 360 collection video that I'll have up in a few days from this time. And thanks everyone for watching. All the collection videos are doing really good. I know the 360 isn't that old, so it doesn't sound like the most appealing one, but there's some surprisingly fun stories with the games that I own in here. But anyway, yeah, I'll see y'all later. Bye.